Hey yo, so check this out. I don't even be the one to be jumping on videos like this and be talking because everybody in this generation got something that they feel like they want to share to somebody that they think is profound and it don't really be sound. So I'm gonna say it just like this. Sometimes you gotta check Satan when you see him operating recklessly. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes Most High put you to the side and say, be patient, you know? But then sometimes you gotta check Satan when you see him operating super recklessly and out of pocket. Now there's this filthy, nasty message that everybody want to keep spreading around that I started to originally see from the Caucasus ethnicity, sitting up talking about well, black people kill each other all the time, so you before you get upset about Ahmad, you need to be worrying about your own kind shooting each other. Then I'm starting to hear black people parrot that same thing. You know what that's like? That's like a man abusing his wife, beating her in her face, and she calls the police every day, and then you turn around and say, well, I might as well punch her in her face, her husband do it. You know what that's like? That's like saying, oh, well, his daughter already been molested, I might as well rape her. I might as well set her out. She already experienced it. Might as well. That's something that would come out the mouth of a criminal. It's not black people walking up the street, civilians shooting another black person in the head, two regular walking black people, two regular black civilians. And I'm using this word black recklessly because everybody who already know who we are. So stop playing games with that. But for the simple-minded people, we'll keep it simple for y'all. Black people. What you calling black-on-black violence is a situation of gang activity and drug dealing activity. People trapping and who are caught up in the criminal lifestyle. When you heard us talking about in black-on-black violence or in stop the violence, we was talking directly to brothers and sisters caught up in the life, not regular black civilians walking the street. Your whole concept of black on black is very out of place and out of pocket, because when the Italians were shooting each other and drive-by shooting each other and jumping out the car and killing each other, doing the mafia and the low Costa Nostra, how many of y'all called that white on white crime violence? Not a single solitary one of y'all. In Goodfellas, white people shooting each other all up and through the movie. Italians are shooting each other all up and through the movie. How many of y'all call that white on white crime violence? So what if I said to myself, oh, well, white people, I saw them killing each other in casino. I might as well just drive up the street and blow a white person's brain out. They do it on their own movies. I want you to think about the faulty fallacy logic that you use to justify some man's unjust murder. Right? Everybody want to talk about, look at how many black men have been killed by other black men. Okay, I want you to tally up the number of people who've been killed since the East African slave trade. 500 million. From the Atlantic slave trade to the East African slave trade. European people killed 500 million people of African descent, getting us here. When we got here, they killed some more of us. And then when the Jim Crow period started, they killed some more of us in the thousands. Lynched, castrated, ears cut off and sold in marketplaces. There's a book called Without Sanctuary. Pick it up before you get on TV and start talking like you were authority on something. There's another book called 100 Years of Lynchings that documents the over 10,000, 50,000 lynchings. And those are the only ones that they had documented on paper. Not to mention the ones who were buried in unmarked graves. And in case you saying, man, you stay in the past, you want to function on what your ancestors did. Number one, I am my ancestors. There ain't no separation between me and them. That's for the sucker MC that wanted to say that to me earlier. But if we want to move on to the future, let's talk about all the people during the Black Liberation period who were shot by police officers, buried in unmarked graves, thrown in lakes and off bridges, locked up in prison and murdered and tortured in prison with cattle prods. Let's talk about that. All done by Europeans. And you want to calculate the 80s and early 90s to try to act like that's anything, we did anything remotely close to what's been happening before us? You're looking at a group of people who've been beat sick. You beat a group of people until they became mentally ill to hate their own reflection. So don't play that game with me, man. You know what y'all satanic people have been doing. You already know what you've been doing. It's called psychological warfare. The art form of making somebody kill themselves by using my own mind to perform the action. That's what it is. So you guilty of that? Taking these young brothers out the hood knowing they starving, knowing their mama is got diabetes or something, and she the only person in the house paying the rent, and you say, I give him a record deal if you rap these kind of songs. You ain't gonna pick him up when he's 30. You ain't gonna pick him up when he's 25. You gonna pick him up when he's 16 and 18 and 19 and don't know up from down and left from right, and then say, now sing this kind of music. That's for all y'all people say, well, you rap about it in your songs. We don't rap about shit. They write the lyrics and say, rap this or die in the hood. So stop playing games with me. Caucasus Mountains, to the people of African descent who want to keep parroting this same foolishness. Well, black people have killed more black people than police officers and white people ever have. We just told you there was 500 million people murdered just getting us here. There are over 300, there's approximately 300 million, about 320 million citizens here in America, the population. So if we just tallied that up alone, just getting us here would be the equivalent of killing America 2 times, 2 to 3 times. That means I'm going to start from Maine, go to LA, go to Chicago, go down to Florida, killing every single solitary citizen, man, woman, and child, and then start again doing it. And you would only have the tip of the iceberg of how many people of African descent were murdered just getting us to this country. That's excluding Jim Crow. That's excluding post-Civil War. That's excluding civil rights. That's excluding black liberation. And then if you want to add the drug dealers in from the early 90s to the late 90s, that's still them. They still bear the burden of their murders as well. Check yourself. Because big dicks in your mouth is bad for your health.